Good morning, dear students. Two friends, Reema and Manish, are playing in the garden. So, Manish says to Reema, I am enjoying the seesaw. Reema also says she's enjoying the seesaw. So, he says, do you know it is a machine? He says, how interesting. So let's study about the simple machines.
So dear students, today we are going to talk about the simple machines. We use these simple machines in our day-to-day life. When you go for bicycling early in the morning, you are using a machine for that. When you go to the kitchen and you take up a knife, you are using a simple machine. When you are using a scissors to cut a cloth or a paper, this states that we are using a machine. So dear students, you should always remember these simple machines make our life very easy. They do not have many parts, so इनकी जो working होती है ना, it is quite easy. We can easily use them in our day-to-day life. But what are the examples of simple machine? Or you can tell that these are the examples, or you can even say that there are 6 types of simple machines. They are lever, inclined plane, wheel and axle, pulley, and a screw. So now we are going to discuss about all these simple machines in detail. So dear students, now let's see what are the simple machines. The machines that have few or no moving parts are called the simple machines. To use these machines, we have to use our muscle part. हमें अपनी muscles को use करना पड़ता है to use these machines. Dear students, there are 6 types of simple machines. Let's see. There is inclined plane, wheel and axle, there is a pulley, there is a lever, there is a wedge, and there is a screw. So, you should be clear regarding these 6 simple machines.
Now, dear students, let's talk about the inclined plane. An inclined plane is a flat surface that is higher at one end. It makes the work easy, and it is the simplest machine because nothing moves to make inclined plane work. It is only your push that is required. Examples are the ramp, the slides, and the stairs. Dear students, let's do this inclined plane in detail. So inclined plane is a slope which makes our work easy. But climbing on a ladder is far more difficult as compared to walk on an inclined plane. What is inclined plane? A ramp. So workers load and unload the heavy objects from the truck by using only the inclined plane. In hospitals also, inclined ramps are used to push the wheelchairs. बच्चे कितनी बार हम देखते हैं जब हॉस्पिटल में जाते हैं तो हमेशा स्टेयर्स भी होती हैं और एक रैम्प भी होता है. Do you know why? Because रैम्प के थ्रू जो यहाँ पर इनके स्ट्रेचर्स होते हैं, जो यहाँ पर व्हील चेयर्स होती हैं, that can be pushed easily. छोटी सी पुश के साथ they can be taken up or they can be taken down. So, बच्चे slide is also an example of the inclined plane. So, see to it, there is science in everything. हम लोग slides लेते हैं तब तो हमने कभी भी नहीं सोचा था. But inclined plane के ऊपर when you take a slide, you come down very easily, isn't it? Dear students, do remember that slide is also a simple machine. So, dear students, let's talk about the wheels and axle. Have you ever gone for a cycling? Yes? Then how does it work? It works on a wheel. Wheel is attached to a rod and also there is an axle. So, bache, a wheel and axle turns on a post to help you drive, isn't it? So, cycle, doorknob, steering of a car, even a sewing machine are the examples.
Dear students, do you know who invented the wheel? So when we talk about the wheel, it was invented by the early man. He also used the wheel. It was a revolution. He used the wheel for carrying the loads. So remember, wheels are used to carry and make your task easy for pushing the loads. But it itself is not a simple machine. When wheel is connected with the rod, and an axle, a simple machine is formed. This arrangement is called wheel and axle arrangement. Wheel and axle is used in vehicles, in sewing machines, in cycles, in the car steerings, right? Now let's talk about the pulley. See this boy. He's going to draw out the water from the well. But how? He will use a wheel and he will use a rope. And this is called a pulley. He exerts pressure in the downward direction. Pulley uses a wheel and a rope. You know why we call it a pulley? Because it is used to pull the object out. It is there in the form of crane, which is movable, the blintz. Now dear students, we talk about a pulley. You know, a pulley has a small wheel and a groove attached to it around the edge. A rope is tied over this groove. But your pulley together with the rope and a chain is used to lift the objects. आपको पता होना चाहिए there are two type of pulleys. One is a fixed pulley and other is a movable pulley. But a fixed pulley is used to draw water from wells. It is fitted with a support. A rope is passed over the pulley. हम लोग पुली के अंदर एक रोप डाल देते हैं और जब हम रोप को बहुत लूज करते हैं तो it pushes down into the well. And when we exert a downward direction pressure on one end, then the bucket gets lifted. So a small pulley is also used to hoist a flag. Now when I talk about a movable pulley, bache, it is like a crane that is used to lift raise the roads. Now dear students, let's talk about the levers. When I talk about a seesaw, it is a simple machine. It is a lever. Did you ever think how does it work? If I'm sitting normally, I'm not able to lift my friend so high. But here it is easier for me to lift my friend even high. Why? It is because of the center portion. So the center portion is a fulcrum. Here we are the effort and on the other end we have the load. So dear students, a lever is a straight bar that moves a fixed point. A lever makes it easier to move a load. Now let's see some of the examples of levers: seesaw, piler, and a bottle opener. You know, levers are classified into 3 parts. So we are going to discuss about the classification. First class lever. See, if there is a heavy rock, can you think about lifting it up? Yes, we can do it with the first class levers. See, the rock has been lifted. In the first class lever, fulcrum is at a center, anywhere between the load and the effort. The man is exerting the effort. So, the crowbars, the scissors are the first class levers. See, the fulcrum is in the center. The effort is from the back, and in the front we have the load. Now the second class lever. When a person is taking the kids out for roaming, so he is using a second class lever. You know, in the second class lever, the effort is on one side, the fulcrum is on the other side, and the load is in the center. The examples are the wheelbarrow, the nutcracker, and the bottle opener. Now, dear students, we talk about the third class lever. In the third class lever, you know, the effort is in the center. The load is at one end, and in the other end is the fulcrum. So the fishing rod is particularly the example of third class lever. Effort in the center, fulcrum in the end, and in the starting you have the load. So examples are stapler, the broom. So dear students, the most common levers are the hammers, the pilers, the bottle openers, and the tweezers. To lift a heavy rock, an iron rod is used.
Here the iron rod is used as a lever. बच्चे on one side of an iron rod is pushed under a rock and a downward force इसके ऊपर exert करी जाती है from the other end. See the man यहाँ पर एक downward force exert कर रहा है and in the center of a lever बच्चे अगर आप देखोगे he has put a small stone also and that small stone is playing the role of a fulcrum. बच्चे ऑटोमेटिकली इसके कारण से जो बिगर रॉक हमारा लोड है दैट इज बीइंग एबल टू मूव्ड. बच्चे यू नो इट वेरी वेल ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ अ पोजीशन ऑफ अ फल्क्रम, लोड एंड अ फोर्स. हमारे जो लिवर्स होते हैं ना उनको हम 3 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करते हैं. फर्स्ट क्लास लिवर, सेकेंड क्लास लिवर एंड अ थर्ड क्लास लिवर. वी हैव डन इट इन डिटेल बट स्टिल वी आर गोइंग टू डू इट अगेन. जब हम fulcrum is placed between the load and the force, then we call it a first class lever. Examples: pilers, hammer, seesaw, and a pair of scissors. Second class lever. When the load is placed in between the fulcrum and the force, then it is a second class lever. What is an example? Nutcracker and a wheelbarrow. Third class lever. When the force is between the fulcrum and the load, then the example is a forceps and the tweezer, even the fishing rod. Let's see it with the help of an examples. See, if I check it out, in the first case, what?
So dear students, in the first case I find that the load and the force is on the other end, but we have the fulcrum in the center. So what is an example? The hammer is an example. Now, I switch over to the second case. When I switch over to the second case, on the one end we have the fulcrum, right? And the load is in the center and on the other end we have the force. What is an example? The nutcracker is an example. Now dear students, we have a third case. When I talk about a third case, we have the fulcrum on one side, right? And on the other side, we have a load. But where is the force? The force is in the center. So remember here, the fulcrum is on the other end, right? बच्चे do remember one thing. Second और third के अंदर दोनों जो फल्क्रम होता है ना दैट इज पर्टिकुलरली प्लेस्ड इन द एंड ओनली ऑन द वन साइड. बट वेयर इज अ डिफरेंस देन? द डिफरेंस इज बिटवीन द फोर्स एंड द लोड. फोर्स को हम एफर्ट भी बोलते हैं. तो जब एफर्ट हमारा ऑन द अदर साइड होता है और लोड सेंटर में होता है दैट इज अ सेकेंड क्लास लेवर. बट व्हेन द फोर्स इज इन द सेंटर एंड लोड इज ऑन द अदर एंड लाइक इन अ फिशिंग रॉड, then this is particularly the example of a third class lever. Now dear students, let's talk about the screw. You know, there is a difference between a screw and a nail. Screw has grooves. It is wrapped around a shaft, right? So bache, a screw takes less force to turn a screw because a screw moves a longer distance inside. Examples are the screw, the corkscrew, and even a jar lid. See, it is easier to take out a nail but not a screw because of the grooves present. We can hang the heavy objects on a screw. See, even we can tighten a jar, and even a simple machine that is a screw can be used to lift up the car. See how strong the screws are because it is used to lift up a car. So dear students, a screw is used to hold the things together. And many a times it's being said, screw your mind up together. So what does this mean? This means that let's hold the things together. So बच्चे, screw आप लोगों को पता होना चाहिए is an inclined plane which has grooves wrapped on it. और ये बच्चे बिल्कुल twisted. Exactly, they are the twisted kind of the grooves. These grooves help the screw to move inside the wood or any other object. कई बार आपने कारपेंटर देखा होगा. If a carpenter is working at your place, आप देखना he is screwing the things up. और वो स्क्रू क्यों लगाते हैं? ताकि वो कई चीजों को बाइंड अप कर सके टुगेदर, उनको आसानी से होल्ड अप करवा सके। और बच्चे जो बिगर स्क्रूज होते हैं ना, दे आर यूज्ड इवन टू लिफ्ट हेवी ऑब्जेक्ट्स लाइक कार्स, लाइक ट्रक्स। डू टेक एन एग्जांपल ऑफ अ कार जैक। कार जैक के अंदर भी स्क्रूज लगे हुए होते हैं, जिसके कारण से कि हम लोग कार को उठा सकते हैं। See such a heavy vehicle, but still it is easy to lift up only with the help of the screws available. So dear students, that was all about the simple machines. I hope you might have understood it. Thank you.